The top stories tonight in Y News. House Speaker Martin Romualdez assures the swift passage of 5.76 trillion pesos 2024 national budget before Congress goes on break.
The National Printing Office has completed the printing of the official manual ballots for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections scheduled next month.
Intense fear and trauma of fisherfolk who endure continuous harassment and bullying from Chinese ships at Scarborough Shoal have taken a toll on their well-being.
And the tensions between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian officials escalates at the United Nations Security Council, with the Ukrainian leader condemning Russia's invasion.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, September 21, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and other parts of the world. I am Joselito Liquido.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Elsie Marcos.
First in the news, House Speaker Martin Romualdez assures the passage of 5.76 trillion pesos 2024 national budget before Congress goes on break. Meanwhile, a lawmaker becomes emotional during the plenary debates on the 2024 budget proposal of the Department of Justice. This is with regards to the issue of two environmental activists who were allegedly abducted by the military. Rosalie Cos, tell us why.
The House of Representatives will pass the 5.76 trillion pesos national budget for 2024 before Congress goes on break next week. This after President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. certified the bill as urgent. Due to the certification, the House of Representatives will be able to approve the bill on second and third reading on the same day. In a statement, Speaker Martin Romualdez says the House of Representatives stands united in its commitment to pass the 2024 national budget and support the government's initiatives aimed at promoting economic growth, social development, and the well-being of every Filipino. Meanwhile, during the plenary debates on the 2024 budget of the Department of Justice, Gabriela Partilles Representative Arlene Brosas became emotional about the issue of environmental activists Jed Tamano and Jonila Castro. The two accused the military of abducting them. Brosas, on the other hand, questioned the statement made by Justice Secretary Crispin Remulla against the two. The Justice Chief said the recantation of the two activists looks like a new playbook of the communist rebels.
We wish the Justice Department had been more prudent and discerning in its statements on these issues. Buhay at kamatayan ang nangyayari sa mga mamamayan natin. Huwag naman kayong ganyan, lalo na kung saksi tayo sa mga ganon.
Representative Brosas was with the two young women when they went to the Commission on Human Rights in Quezon City on Tuesday, September 19, after the news conference of National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or NTF-LCAC. She asked how can the public be assured of the impartiality of the Department of Justice with the chief's accusations.
Paano ma-assure yung impartiality ng Department of Justice on the investigation conducted or to be conducted, given that the statements made by Secretary Remulla seems to be very biased against Jed and Jonila and seems to have already painted the two environmental activists as part of the CPP-NPA.
But the DOJ's budget sponsor said the prosecutor cannot be impartial if a case is already filed in court. This is because he or she serves as the lawyer of the victim in a case.
Ang prosecutor naman po ay hindi judges. Ang sa batas po natin, yung dapat impartial yung judges because they have to listen to different views. They will determine who is telling the truth and they will evaluate all the evidence presented. ito naman pong prosecutor, kung may biktima, kung may isang tao naging biktima ng kaharasan, si prosecutor naman, kung nakikita niya na may probable cause at merong degree of certainty na magiging nagawa o magiging konbiktado yung kaso, yung tao na yan, si prosecutor naman talagang partial yan. Kasi siya yung abogado ng biktima.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Commission on Elections, or Comelec, is now preparing for the deployment of the official ballots for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections, or BSKE, next month. Dante Amento tells us why.
The National Printing Office, or NPO, has concluded the printing of the official manual ballots for the October 30, 2023 Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections, or BSKE. The NPO turned over the certificate of completion this morning to the Commission on Elections, or Comelec. A total of 92,054,974 manual ballots for the upcoming elections, over 60 million for the barangay voters, and 23,857,839 for the SK election.
Maayos po ang aming naging trabaho at naimprenta po namin ang mga baluta sa loob ng takdang panahon.
Commission on Elections, or Comelec Chairman George Erwin Garcia said his strict mandate is that there will be no failure of elections.
Ang instruction namin sa lahat ng local Comelec namin, there should be no failure of election in any part of the country. There should be no failure of election in any barangay in the 42,027 barangays of the entire country. That is not acceptable. Dapat po, the election should proceed, the election should be held, and the people will be allowed to vote.
Aside from this, there will be over 100,000 ballots for the pilot run of the automated BSKE. Meanwhile, the deployment for the BSKE ballots will start on October 5 until 2023. The first batch will be for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM, Region 12, and Region 11, or Davao Region.
Pinapangako po natin ang lahat ng eleksyon paraphernalia ay makakarating sa inyong bawat lugar ng eksaktong panahon, ng eksaktong oras. Sana po, pagtulong-tulungan natin na maging maayos ang ating halalan.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Japan is experiencing record-breaking heat this summer, with daytime temperature highs exceeding up to 38 degrees Celsius, prompted local weather agencies to rise a disaster level with 40 degrees Celsius heat to 2 cities in early August. Nerissa Dando will tell us why live. Yes, Nerissa?
Good evening, Elsie. Data from the country's 15 locations from June to August this year showed that Japan was on its hottest since 1898, according to country's meteorological agency. Tokyo has experienced 22 days with temperature rising more than 35 degrees Celsius, breaking last year's 16-day extremely hot record. Even Sapporo, the country's northernmost main city and a venue for a snow festival every year, has experienced this high of temperature, which prompted public schools and railways to shut down operations last month. Though conditions in Japan has started to ease since the start of September, the country is still salting for autumn, as Tokyo's Climate Center Director Takafumi Omeda have announced that this will continue up until October, warning people to be cautious about heat stroke. As human-caused climate breakdown tolerates extreme weather around the world, experts have reminded people to be mindful and to take necessary precautions to deadly disasters such as this. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Nerissa Dando, reporting live from Japan.
Canada has recently raised concerns over possible Indian government involvement in the murder of Sikh separatist leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Canadian citizen who was killed in June. Trudeau's assertion that Canadian intelligence indicated potential Indian government agents' participation in the murder led Canada to discuss the matter with key allies, including the Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing Alliance, which includes the United States, Britain, Australia, and New Zealand. However, responses have been restrained. The ongoing murder investigation has prevented Canada from disclosing its intelligence. Meanwhile, the diplomatic feud has escalated with India warning its citizens in Canada about growing anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes and advising them to exercise caution. India's National Investigation Agency released a list of individuals in Canada it has alleged have terrorist links to Khalistan movement, intensifying the strain on diplomatic ties between the two nations. In response, Canada updated its travel advisory for India, cautioning its citizens to be vigilant due to the threat of terrorist attack throughout the country. The dispute continues to cast a shadow over the relationship between India and Canada, which is experiencing one of its most significant downturns since the 1980s.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a face-off with Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia at the UN Security Council during his inaugural in-person appearance to discuss the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Zelensky strongly condemned Russia's actions as criminal aggression and urged the UN to revoke Russia's Security Council veto power, which he deemed illegitimate. Paul Gatchalian details why live. Yes, Paul, good evening.
Good evening, Elsie. The tensions between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian officials have indeed escalated, with the Ukrainian leader condemning Russia's invasion of his country as criminal and unprovoked aggression aimed at seizing their territory and resources. He vehemently argued that Russia's claim to veto power was illegitimate, contending it rightly belonged to the former Soviet Union, one of the World War II victors responsible for establishing the United Nations. Zelensky accused Russia of manipulating its way to the seat, using it to whitewash its aggression and genocide. Russian Ambassador Nebenzia questioned the decision to allow Zelensky to speak first, expressing concerns about it undermining the Security Council's authority. Albania's Prime Minister Edi Rama responded by urging Russia to end the conflict, implying that Zelensky's speech wouldn't have been necessary under those circumstances. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also strongly criticized Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, stating that it violated the United Nations Charter and international law, further aggravating global tensions and regional instability. Whilst the prospect of removing Russia's veto power is challenging, historical precedent exists, such as the UN General Assembly stripped Taiwan of its veto power representing China, transferring it to the Communist government of mainland China in 1971. Zelensky also addressed the General Assembly, condemning Russia's deportation of Ukrainian children as genocide and accusing Russia of weaponizing food and energy resources. While Zelensky received applause from the Western nations, some developing nations criticized the disproportionate attention given to Ukraine that received $43 billion in military aid from the US amid the ongoing crisis. Russian President Vladimir Putin's absence from the UN General Assembly aligns with his recent trend of avoiding high-profile diplomatic events due to the efforts by Western nations to isolate him and an International Criminal Court arrest warrant. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Paul Gatchalian, reporting live from New Zealand. We'll share more global stories with you later. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The fishermen in Masinloc, Zambales have been enduring harassment and bullying by Chinese ships at Scarborough Shoal, causing a lasting impact. Due to their intense fear and trauma, some fishermen have fallen ill. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
Mang Ruben Eduarte, hailing from San Salvador, strongly emphasizes that the harassment they endure from Chinese vessels while fishing near Scarborough Shoal is no laughing matter. Scarborough Shoal, locally known as Calboro by some residents and fishermen, is a modest island in Masinloc, Zambales. Fishing is the primary livelihood from many here. Since there aren't abundant fish stocks near the shores of Zambales, some are compelled to travel to Scarborough for their catch. This journey, spanning from San Salvador to Calboro, takes about 12 to 14 hours in the middle of the sea. This can also be perilous, especially during unfavorable weather conditions. However, according to Mang Ruben, nothing compares to the fear they experience when Chinese vessels continually harass them in that area.
Nakabahan kami. Nandiyan na, nagwawangwang na po yung speedboat palapit sa amin. Kailangan po makaalis na kami agad-agad dun eh. Dahil talaga pong kumisan may mga masusungit din po yung iba eh. Talagang kulang na lang anuhin ka eh. Talaga nakakagalit. At saka nakakasama rin po ng loob dahil dati po, ibig sabihin yung kita namin na medyo na ngayon eh, dahil sa panggigipit din po nila.
It's not new to them either, as they have experienced the use of water cannons by Chinese ships for some time now. In the past, they've endured attempts by the Chinese Coast Guard to drive them away from the area using these water cannons.
Pupunta kami dito sa may daanan, papaalisin kami, abugin kami. Dito naman, pag malapit kami dyan, bugawin din kami.
Mang Ernie, another fisherman from Calboro, shares that this kind of harassment by Chinese ships has caused severe trauma to his brother Mang Delphine, who is renowned in their community for his expertise in spear fishing. However, due to the intimidation tactics allegedly employed by the Chinese foreigners in 2018, Mang Delphine fell ill.
Galing kami sa Scarborough. Pagdating niya po dito yan, sir, para siyang wala na siyang kausapin mo, parang wala na siyang naririnig. Hanggang sa bumagsak po ang kwan niya. Hindi niya na alam sinasabi niya eh. Sir, nung pumunta kami sa Scarborough, nakita niya lang yung speedboat ng China, nanginginig yan, sir, sa bangka. Sa sobrang takot. Makita niya lang yung speedboat niya.
Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, and the Interagency Council for Traffic conducted an operation on the EDSA busway this morning, September 21. They apprehended drivers who entered the exclusive lane designated for buses on the EDSA carousel. Additionally, they confiscated vegetables and fruits being sold at the bus stops. According to MMDA Task Force Special Operations Chief Edison Bong Nebriha, despite repeated reminders, many drivers still disobey traffic rules and insist on using the EDSA bus lane even when it's not an emergency situation. That's why he emphasized the need to conduct apprehensions daily.
Consistency in the enforcement might bring back the discipline that we want. So, tuloy-tuloy lang gagawin namin.
Aside from apprehending drivers for disregarding traffic signs, the MMDA also confiscated vegetables and fruits being sold at the EDSA bus stops as it causes congestions in the area. MMDA clarified that they initially request ambulant vendors to cease selling at the bus stops along EDSA. They will apprehend them if they persist in their activities.
Yung mga nagtitinda ng mga mani tsaka sigarilyo sa kalsada, tapos yung mga nag-i-stay na dun sa sa bus stations natin, kasi they're also part of the delays that we encounter. Hindi lang yun, dumudumi pa yung mga bus stations sa kanila kasi hindi naman nila nililinis, hindi naman nila inaayos.
You can now buy cheap rice in the markets in Bulacan at a price lower than the set price cap. However, according to some buyers, the quality is not suitable for consumption. Others are finding ways to make the cheap rice edible because it's the only one within their budget. Nestor Torres will tell us why.
Aling Carmelita Lopez can feed her 7 children and grandchildren with the cheap rice available now, priced at 39 pesos per kilo in Malolos public market. She mentioned that she'd rather buy expensive rice, but she won't let their children eat it.
39 po, hindi ko po mabibili. Kahit po sang mahirap lang ako, kasi po parang madumi, hindi kayang kainin ng mga anak po. Naalala ko po sa kataruntiyan, magkadiferensya mga anak ko. Kurang nga po, hindi naman po makakain. Ang ulam mo lang nga po ganoon, isang kahit santo ka lang, tapos kakain ko pa rin po ng ganoon. Kung magkakadiferensya naman yung mga anak, magtitiis na lang po ako. Kahit po pa konti-konti lang ang bili, yung kaya lang pong kainin ng mga anak ko.
Some buyers have no plans to purchase it either because of its yellowish color, mixed with stone and husk. Others buy it to feed their animals.
Yung 39 pang-alaga lang ngayon aso pusa lang, pagkain lang na aso pusa. Sa aso, yung 55 ngayon ang binibili ko, pang tao naman yun.
Ang talasan dito, ang humahalap niyan, puro pambili lang ng pagkain ng aso. Yung ganong halaga. Libaling tricycle driver, masarap na kainin kahit pa 2 kilo lang ang bili. Huwag lang kumain ng ganong idyorang bigas.
At Kalumpit Public Market, we encountered Aling Eileen buy 5 kilos of rice for 39 pesos per kilo. She mentioned that eating this rice is not a problem as long as it's rinsed 3 times and then salt and pandan leaves are added to remove the smell and their children can eat it.
Minsan po talagang may amoy, di maiwasan po. Pero ngayon po, pwede nang pagtsagaan kesa naman po sa bibili kang mahal wala po talagang budget na mahal. Hanggang dito lang po talaga yung budget namin.
Meanwhile, retailers buy this cheap rice at Intercity in Bukawi, Bulacan at 1,900 pesos per sack or 38 pesos per kilo. They sell it at 39 pesos per kilo in the market. According to some retailers, they also have limited access to this type of rice for now. They usually get around 5 to 20 sacks per week.
39 ang pinakamababa. Variety nito yung mga sinandoming, tsaka intan. Pinaka 39 na nito, 38 ang puhunan. 38 tapos 39. Ayun, meron kang peso sa 1 kilo. Hindi siya masyadong kiniskis ng gusto para hindi siya tumaas ng presyo. Ito yung mga binahan na siya, yung mga nalubog sa baha nung panahon ng mga bagyo kanun. Ayun. Tapos pinatuyo lang para maging maibenta sa market na. Ito naman kinukuha ng mga nagkakarinderya, yung mga nag-aanli, anli rice.
Mabilis sa akin. Yung 39. Siyempre, nagtitipid yung mga tao sa hirap ng buhay. Basta unab na mabuti, 3 unab, iba nilalagyan ng konting asin.
Currently, only a few are selling the 39 pesos per kilo rice in public markets. Most still buy the expensive ones, hoping that the price of rice will eventually go down for the customers.
Nestor Torres, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Health authorities in Libya are growing increasingly concerned about the aftermath of Typhoon Daniel. The floods that ensued, claiming thousands of lives in eastern Libya, are now causing the rapid spread of waterborne diseases. Jane Robles will tell us why.
Cases of diarrhea have been reported in Derna, Libya, as well as 150 reports of poisoning from polluted water, according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, or OCHA. Days after the devastation brought about by Storm Daniel in eastern Libya, residents are being strongly advised to avoid consuming groundwater. Authorities warn that water sources have been contaminated by sewage, making them unfit for consumption and posing significant health risks. According to the World Health Organization, or WHO, contaminated water and lack of sanitation measures can lead to the transmission of cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. To mitigate the risk associated with unsafe water, bottled water is being supplied to the area by volunteers and rescue workers. Vaccinations against waterborne diseases will also commence soon, targeting children, frontline health workers, and rescue personnel who come into contact with dead bodies. Adding another layer of risk attributable to the flood is their impact on landmines and other artillery, remnants of years of conflict in the country. Both international and local rescue teams have been welcomed by the survivors. However, these rescue efforts have sadly claimed the lives of several volunteers while leaving others in critical condition. Jane Robles, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Changi Airport in Singapore is set to launch automated immigration clearance in 2024, allowing passengers to exit the country without a passport. This will be facilitated through the use of biometric data and facial recognition software. The airport already uses some of the technology, including facial recognition software, at some of its immigration checkpoints. However, travelers still need to carry their passports since many countries still require it at their immigration counters. In June, Changi Airport achieved a significant milestone, surpassing the 5 million mark for the first time since the pandemic began in January 2020, handling a total of 5.12 million travelers. Across the globe, we are witnessing a shift towards biometrics replacing traditional passports. This suggests a potential direction for the future of travel. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe.
The much-anticipated Wish Date short film titled Memoir is set to premiere on October 1 at the SM Araneta Coliseum. And stay tuned for live performances by your favorite Pinoy artist, bringing to life some of your cherished OPM songs. Gladys Tawabi will tell us why.
Could anyone forget about the one you love? Could we ever overcome the pain of loving? Could friends be in love with a friend?
Once again, an exciting story awaits wishers in the 9th installment of Wish Date with the title Memoir. This is a tale of love and friendship featuring the esteemed actress Alice Dixon, UNTV seniors anchor and veteran actress Luella de Cordova.
I play a lawyer who has a situation, not a situationship, but something that happened in her life na pinagdadaanan niya. Sa amin is about finding and losing love, trusting in what your fate will be, and I think life in general, it's ups and downs.
Ngayon naman, ito naman best friend ako. Pero kung doon sa mga ibang roles na nagampanan ko noon, sa mga movies, syempre yung ibang maaksyon. Ito naman, makabagbag damdamin, iyakan blues.
Also joining to add vibrance to the story are Devon Seron, Shira Diaz, and the Good Morning Kuya host Joshua Junicio. And because the concept of the Wish Date concert is a combination of film, theater, and live performances, the exceptional songs that will evoke emotions will certainly be performed by your favorite OPM artists. Among the highly anticipated live performances are from the up-and-coming artist Haki, singer-songwriter Piñel, the rock alternative band Moonstar 88, and singer-songwriter sensation TJ Monterde.
Sobrang nagulat ako nung nalaman ko yung konsepto ng show. It's not a concert kasi it's a combination of both. So doon ko nasabi na iba talaga ang Wish 107.5. trendsetter talaga kumbaga. Gusto nyo talagang itry yung mga bago. Paiiyakin at pakikiligin. Music po namin ang bahala sa inyo. Just be with us.
Stay tuned for Wish Date Memoir this October 1 at 6 in the evening at the Araneta Coliseum. Save the date and immerse yourself in a night full of songs and stories. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God. From the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, it says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And those are the reasons behind the news September 21, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.